some tools is like the bill ship aspect of it, and then like basically how to connect bill ship into assistable.
Cool. We feel comfortable with custom tools. We won't run into that, or we want to wait. We'll build one right now. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, let's do a custom tool like the Stripe one. I think everyone can benefit from that.
I'm very happy with that. Are you sure you don't need to sleep?
No,
all right.
Actually, I've never slept before. This will be my first time.
Why start now?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let me remove all these.
All
right, so pretty fun. Let me remove all this because we're just going to test with custom and call it a day. All right, so I'm going to go into build ship. You don't have to use build ship. It's just a good one. I'm going to go into the assistable network one, and I'm going to build. All right, how are we feeling on terminology like endpoint, HTML, yada, yada, yada? How are we feeling on that?
Can you explain all that? Because I think I'm smart, but I don't really understand this stuff.
Okay.
Also, cool. As a quick note, like I think it's good to go over, but also the people that are going to be using this should already know those terms, right?
Yep. Yep. The people who will be in the Slack channel and the build channel for stuff like this will kind of be responsible for building it for everybody else. So there's not much you need to do, but we'll go through building it and you can kind of see the reactiveness of it. And I may just do like a simple something with Stripe. Let's see. So I'm going to do a REST API call. I'm going to use a post. I'm going to say Stripe customer ID. Nothing you really need to know there. We're just playing with custom tools. I think they have some stuff for Stripe in here. I don't know how robust it is. I played a little bit with it, but
yeah, in the templates, I believe there was a few Stripe things already sent to go.
Okay. Okay, so let's create this. I'm gonna need my API key. Okay, no problem. And we just need their name and email. Easy enough.
And so that we can talk and without shutting out the people who aren't super dev. That what he just typed in there, the /Stripe customer ID, that's totally irrelevant. It's just for him to be able to reference in the future. Right?
That is going to be the URL for the endpoint.
Yeah, the reference URL. So it's not referencing something else. He got to make that up. He could make it whatever he wants it. It's just he made it intuitive. By the way, we lost your screen.
Yep, I'm getting an API key.
Not gonna share it?
If you want it.
No.
Okay. 149,447.
So the cool thing for the non-devs here, when he clicked the Stripe thing that he wanted, that build chip already had pre-built. He didn't have to build that; it's pre-built, and then it's going to tell him the values that it needs for him to be able to gather. So then he's just going to find the sources for those. And again, if you're not a dev, it's cool to learn this thing or to see kind of how it works, but outside that, it's not really a ton of use for you.
I think for the Stripe, there's multiple use cases. Like for example, say that you're an appointment setter and you're down to pay on the call. You can send the link via text and then confirm the payment that comes through. And that itself is like amazing use case.
It's fire. All right, and then also what he did right here was he just went to Stripe and went through documentation to pull out his Stripe key.
Yep. Yep. You're so much better at explaining this, dude. MVP. Well, MVP.
I just know the questions I would ask if I were day one.
Yeah. All right. So we have the endpoint, which is just a URL that we put out on the internet. That's not like an actual URL that you can visit. It's in fact, if you go to it, it'll just say you don't have the right data for this. But it's a URL out on the internet that's specifically made to do something and send it back. That's kind of what this is. The method, I won't get too much into it, but for those who are going to build for custom tools on V2, it's just going to be post. It's fine. Data will be sent back. You'll be good. And so here I got my Stripe API key with any service, high level, whatever. If you just go to like their integration section, they'll always give you an API key. That's just your way of authenticating, like, or it's telling the system that you are actually you and that you can access your stuff. That's what keeps other people out. It's what keeps, especially communicating over the internet. It's just a kind of a back-end way for you to log in. All right.
So sorry, real quick, do we need to know this to build custom tools?
No. You can build custom tools with workflows. This is just a really kind of going all in use case.
Okay. Yeah, he's using build ship because you can do a lot more crazy stuff with it. But all the stuff that you need, like all the content, all the context, everything from the user side that you've taken as a custom value or custom field, that's all referenceable inside of a workflow webhook inside of high level. This is for us building out specific use cases like Bilal was saying. Like, for example, you don't need build ship at all to send an invoice through voice. You can do that right now inside of a workflow with an API call on the back. So it is an API call, but it's just send invoice is all it looks like as a task or an action. But this is how do we do it over the phone with sending a Stripe payment page? Because GHL is not going to do that.
No.
Okay, cool.
And these are, so like it goes from pretty easy. So like this one was one I set up earlier where like this is not super reactive as far as sending data back to the assistant, meaning like it doesn't. So the AIs, when you do something like a custom tool, or even you've seen on like when it calls appointment times and everything, it's super understanding of the consequences of its action. Or for example, like when it goes and gets something, it understands the return. It sees what it gets. On something like a lead connector or like a high-level workflow trigger, it doesn't. It's a webhook, so it doesn't actually send data back. It just confirms that it got it. It's like, okay, I got that. Thank you. And so there's nothing like really reactive you can do with it. That's where like build ship for a little bit more complex use case, where we can go send something and get something back and feed it into the convo to use later. Again, nothing you need to really crazy worry about today, but just kind of a difference there. Like you can even see. Let's see if I can custom this. This here is a custom tool. And this is just done on an API we have. And so what we do is we send the user or the contact URL to our stuff, and we say scrape this website and send something back, which is how we get this response here. And so it makes it reactive. It gives it understanding of what it just did and the consequences of its action. It's super, super fun.
Would it be possible, and I'm not trying to add more to your list, but to help out with troubleshooting and everything else in the future, would it be possible to have under that task performed which tool is called to do that task? That would make a lot of sense. Instead of task, we don't know what order they were taken in, and we have to go back and check those codes versus check location.
Yep.
Purchase pizza.
Yep. Exactly. I can
Jordan,
add.
guys, sorry. This has been amazing, dude. Like I said, I'm in the chat. I'm never going to miss another call because I've learned so much today. But I'm going to hop off. My VA starting, and we're going to build some shit and break some shit. So thank you, dude.
There you go, man. Have a good Friday, brother.
And I think
number 2.
Bilal's also saving, or Jason. I think there's like 3 different recordings of this. I don't know who's got it, but they can send it to you. Thank you, Jason.
There you go. All right. So the use case I think I'm going to build out here, and again, like this is why I didn't want to do this. I wanted to keep it very basic, but just to kind of give you an understanding of capability. So even if you, which this is not a bad thing, if you're not technical enough to like go out and API endpoints, like who the fuck is, right? Like just weirdos like me. You have an understanding when you talk to like clients. If they're like, can we do this? Your answer now is always going to be yes. We can literally do anything. You just need to figure out, and that's going to be via custom tools. Like literally got the thing to order pizza for me with like and it was delivered to my house. So crazy. So the answer to any prospect's question at this point is always going to be yes. And this is just an idea of like taking conceptually, something and doing it. Don't worry about today. Just an overview. I want to preface that because today was supposed to be really easy. But we'll play around with custom tools. And so what I think I'm going to do on this one is I want to set one up. Let me take this transfer out. And I have another one. Let me take this one out. All right. So what I would like to do is go out and get a customer ID. So I'm going to create a customer ID on Stripe so that they're in the Stripe system. And then I want to do something with that after. I don't know if that's going to be sending them a customized, checkout link or what we're going to do yet, but I know the first step of this is going to be getting them in Stripe and good to go. And with how good build ship is, if you ever, want to play in here, I think it's free. Super fun little tool. We can just do so much here. Like we have one that checks every system we're involved with for contacts. It's super fun. Don't worry about it. All right. So on this one, I'm just going to link up. So the AI is going to call to this. So the AI is actually going to make an API call on behalf of you and say, okay, you told me in this custom tool, all right, that I can do something. What can I do? I can use this tool to get a website summary. That's fucking awesome. I didn't know I could do that. But where do I do that at? You do it here. To this URL. You take this URL, you put it here. You're not going to get anything. This is an endpoint URL. This is not like an actual like website. This is just a way to communicate between systems on a back end. But we're just telling the AI that here's what you can do. Here's something that I'm giving you. I'm giving you a tool in your tool belt, an arrow in your quiver. And it's like, okay, I don't give a shit. And it's like, well, you can use this to get a website summary. It's like, oh, okay. How? And you're like, well, you got to go here first, and then you'll get the stuff back. And then it's like, okay, well, do I just do that and it works? And you're like, no, you do need to send an URL there. You need to let them know that you have like a URL you need to scrape, or like any other one here, like order food. You do need to let them know you have an order and what number to call, whatever. But that's kind of how this cadence works. It's like super simplified code. Like for example, if you want to see what this looks like in a complex way, internet shit here today. No. This is what this kind of looks like. This right here. This is what this looks like, but really easy. And so we're just saying you can do this, and just so you know, this is what it does, just in case you want to use it. This is where you do it at, and then this is the stuff you need to send to them so that they can send you something back. Again, we'll get there. I'm gonna create a custom tool. I'm gonna call this one create Stripe ID. I'm just kind of to myself, to the AI, letting it know kind of what it does in the name, but I'm gonna let it know in the description again, kind of like a mini prompt. Use this tool to generate a customer ID from our payment processor for the user. All right. So it can do this thing. It knows what it does when it when it wants to do this thing. It's, oh, here's how we generate a customer ID, or here's how we can put this person in our CRM, here's how we can XYZ. Okay, great. Where do I do it? And build ship the endpoints right here. Let me do this real quick so I can get it. And we're going to say to the AI, in order to do what I just told you you could, you need to go here and do it, which is just this URL here. So create Stripe ID. Well, what does this do? And you can use this to get a customer ID from our payment processor. Where do I do it at? You do it here, this URL. Okay, do I need to send anything there? Well, in this example, we need the customer's name, we need the customer's email, so yes. So all we have to do here in these parameters, and this is just saying, do we need to send something there? Well, I guess we need to send the name, and we need to send the email. We're not done here. In the same way we described what this is to the AI, right? Almost like a mini prompt. I'm saying use this tool to do this. The fun thing about using AI for API calls is you don't like have to hard code this every time. The AI is really good at it. And so in the same way we tell it that we need these things, right? We need name and email, even though kind of implicitly, like it could understand that, right? This is where we can get a little elaborate. We're just gonna say the user's name. And we can even say, just for shits and giggles, the user's full name. And here we'll say the user's full email address. And we're just telling the AI, these are the things I need from you to send there. And then this is just a brief description of what it is, in case you want to do something, because you could do in lowercase, whatever you need, right? Don't worry about it.
It's a reminder for anyone who reverted what you said earlier, or if this is snipped out, you notice he's saying users, he's not saying contact, he's not saying caller. Also,
Exactly.
quick question. You said for the unique name, I've been telling people it has 0 effect. And you made some videos on how like the name didn't match at all the description and you're just using it as a placeholder. But does it have some effect on the bot telling it what it does?
Not tangibly, not that I found in testing. I mean, I can just call this like thingamabob and it would still just understand from the description, use thingamabob to go get a customer ID.
Good,
This
I
is
don't
where
have to reshoot all those videos.
Yeah. This is kind of what tells it, like the descriptions. Probably the biggest part of this whole thing is just saying, here's how you do it, little mini prompt, and then even down here, like, okay, what does this name mean to you? Because that could be the name of the business, that could be the name of, the Navy SEAL that took down Osama bin Laden. It doesn't know, and we're just gonna say it's just the user's name and just the user's email address. All right, so this is looking pretty frosty. I think we're looking pretty good. So I'm saying, you do the thing. This is what this thing does. This is where we're gonna do it, and this is what I need you to send over so that we can do this thing. I'm gonna save that. So now we have this here. I can add it on. Wonderful. Beautiful thing about custom tools, they work in both voice and chat. Okay, so now this part you don't really need to worry about, especially those ones I pre-built and sent the document out earlier. But if I'm building this from scratch, I need to do a little work here because I need to link these things up. So from the request, I'm going to go to body and actually, let me do this. I'm going to say args name for body. Beautiful thing about BuildShip, you don't even need to know code. It's just pretty good at it. Look at that. Wonderful. All right, and we'll say same thing here. I'll just use AI again. Args email from body. Beautiful. All right, and then we're just going to send back the customer ID that we generated.
And you're saying email specifically with exact letters essentially that you had in the tool. Like if you were email, if you said email, 123, then it would request email 123. Okay.
Yep, they need to match. Yeah, it's like when you call a traditional API, this is probably not even super helpful, but like high level is like, hey, when you create a contact or when you update a contact for us, in order for us to understand what you're sending us, this is what we require you. We require you to do first name, and it needs to be spelled just like this so that we understand what you're sending us. And then the same thing, like this is what the parameters are, is we're just matching it to that endpoint. Is we're just saying like, if we were doing like this go high level example, if we were going to send the first name, then we would just go here and we would match that perfectly so that when they get our call, they understand like, oh, this links to that. Links perfectly to that.
That makes sense. Super helpful.
Okay. Will it work if I insert a name and an email into those BuildShip fields? Yeah, but it wouldn't be dynamic.
Yeah, it'd be hard coded. So every time you ran it, it would be the same contact.
Yep, and that's what the powerful thing about V2 is the custom tools. It's the bread and butter. It's the bee's knees, if there's no other way to describe it. It's like the way you can literally do actually anything.
My eyes are open so much the last 2 days that eyelids are almost stretching over my head already.
Let's do, okay, so I have, I'm just going to test this out.
Dynamic is not dynamic because different text was used. Dynamic is dynamic because it's telling to expect the incoming payload from assistable. It's going to, in whatever field that he specified, is going to have the name of the user for that one call. That's what makes it dynamic, not the text ARGS. Does that make sense?
So now we see, so this is the other fun thing about V2 and what makes the custom tools even just that much more powerful. Is not only can they go do things, so it's not just like go do things, it's fully aware of the consequences of its action. So for example here, I didn't have my email in there and it went and tried to call it and it said, oh, you don't have an email. You need an email to do this. And so given this context, just like almost like with the context injection, that's how these tool calls work, is it comes back and says, got it. So I need to create your customer ID. I need your email address. What email should I use? Which by the way, what fucking good verbiage is that? Like that's minty fresh.
Anyone else feel real good about that?
This is awesome.
That is freaking crazy, man.
So let's go here. I'll give my email.
That's not a million if-else statements. That's the biggest thing for me. Like, yeah, cool, it's AI, but no, this is cool because no if-else.
No if-else statements and no workflows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Like a terrible workflow builder that breaks all the computers I open it on.
The movies warned us about this stuff.
My company's name is Skynet. I'm kidding, but
So we can see here, so it did. So now that it tried to do it and it realized, it understood that it didn't work because it needed my email. So it came back and reacted to the conversation very naturally, said, okay, in order to do it, it didn't freak out. It didn't say, oh no, I didn't. It said, okay, in order to do this, I just need a valid email address. What email should I use? Perfectly executed. Again, simple prompt, simple bot, simple output. Really good. So it said, I just need an email. Which one should I use? I gave it my email and it did it again. It tried it again and it worked. So this generated me a customer ID. It gave me all valid customer ID in Stripe. So everything from Stripe is now in here. And it was fully aware of that, and to say your customer ID is this, which is from here.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but for anyone who wondered, like, oh, we have to confirm, we have to verify that email with an email verifier system. Well, I'm pretty sure Stripe is already integrating that. So this would fail if that was a bad email.
Yep. And so now here's where the thing gets even more fun. Is that was just one thing, but you can marry these tools. You can put them in sequence. And again, like if I were to add zero prompt to this, and I'll do that here in a second, just by using tools, we can make it very dynamic to do things, to collect information. Like you don't even need to add, if you have a tool that sends name, email, phone number, and all your qualifying questions, you want to send that to Go High Level, you want to send that somewhere. You don't even need to prompt to ask all those things. You can just say call tool, get info, and it's going to just ask all those things because it knows it needs that information to send off. So it's just going to work its way down the tool stuff. So don't worry about it. It's just super fun. So that's endpoint number one. That's how we get our customer ID. So next thing, let's do something with this customer ID. So we're going to do the same thing, post, Stripe stuff, I guess. I don't know. What can we do with this customer ID? Stripe customer. There we go. Sweet. Oh yeah, this is perfect. Okay. So I don't know what this does, but on this one it has the customer ID. So we'll say args customer ID from body. It should be args. Okay, great. And let's just send that back to the AI and make sure it knows. And we'll ship this. Let's go back into our little builder here. And then we can, this is how you kind of marry two of them, by the way. So we can say get customer data. Shit, I don't remember what I called that last one. Let's just say use the ID from XYZ tool to pull the customer's data from the payment processor. And then where are we doing this at? Well, we're going to do it here. And what do we need to send to them? I told this that we need customer ID. And so we'll go here.
Question, Goss, did that answer your question?
So Jordan, if we want to create that customer ID in the chat like that, it will always then come up with the contact ID of the customer ID and actually put it in the conversation, or could we tell it to just use that? Like now, I guess now you're kind of fetching that to do something with it, but it's always going to be communicating about it. Because in some cases,
not always. No, and then you can even say, like, you can preface this kind of like going with a mini prompt. You can say this is a non-customer facing or an internal. Do this. And so it won't reference it. Like how even on some, I think when we have create notes or something like that, or like an extraction, it doesn't necessarily say I've extracted your information. I don't think you can see the actual description on those, but it says something to the effect of this is an internal tool. Like just continue your conversation naturally while doing this.
Okay, super helpful.
Okay, and so I've married these two, and so how I did that is I just referenced one inside the other, so it knows in order to do this, going back to this description being so powerful, is we're saying use the ID from create Stripe ID, which is this one, to pull customers' data from payment processor. So it knows in order to even do this, it has to do this first. And in order to do this, it knows it needs to have their name and email. So we don't even have to ask for any of that stuff through the prompt. This can all just be done through a custom tool. Super scalable, super easy. So now if I go back and I make sure that this is good to go and let's test this out. I don't have any specific directions, but I'll just tell the AI, get my data from the payment processor.
So the good news for us humans is AI can fill a lot of gaps in conversation. The bad news is for us humans building the AI, if you blink, you're gonna miss it.
All right. It's a great time to be in it, man. Like no one knows this shit. Look at this. Ooh, all customer data. And what a great response. And look, I'll show you the idea of like being super reactive from it. And I'll say, so it's gotten this, so it went using my customer ID from that last one because it knows it needs that. It went and got information from the payment processor, which was the second one. And so now it's fully aware of all this information that it has. And so it says you need anything specific from it. I can say, am I delinquent or am I behind on payments?
So I guess part of this is knowing what does the endpoint from Stripe do. Like, so it got all the data, which means that any delinquent payments, all that data is now in the context of the AI.
Forever.
That's
And
sweet.
so now, I said because there's things like delinquent being false and current balance is 0, it can, AI is, even though it's pretty common, it like understands code because it is code. So it can understand kind of what's going on here. And so it said, I got your payment processing data, anything specific you need from it. I said, am I behind on payments? And just by taking like the idea of this plus the data from here, nope, you're all caught up, no outstanding balance on your account.
Awesome. Luigi asked, do we need to put a link in the post of a custom tool? I never know what to put here, even if it's JHL. Yes, Luigi, that endpoint that we built out inside of BuildShip, that's what links that custom tool to actually what's going on in the background of that tool. Like that tool is hosted on BuildShip. We're just associating the job that the AI is doing with that tool on BuildShip. So inside of GHL, if you're using a webhook or a custom webhook, the same thing has to be done. You have to have a tool located somewhere. That's what that endpoint is, pointing to that tool. Did you insert?
Yeah, thanks, Chicken.
Yeah, of course. Did you insert in the return value to send it to AI? Sorry, DOS, I don't know what that means. There's a lot of JHL one working for everyone now. I'm still finding delays and messages very long. Oh, that's very out of context. You're right. JHL's working for me.
Yeah, usually, actually, I don't know about delays. I would usually say error handling, but we have, yeah, that was
So it's a live chat. It's not breaking. Like, it is responding after a while.
I've not experienced any live chat issues yet, but I might be outstanding.
Check your message queuing time.
Oh yeah, thank you, Braden. So Braden's answer to Da actually helped me understand Da's question better. Yeah, Braden's exactly right. He's not inputting anything. It's that API call, everything assistable sending to BuildShip. I don't think that was a very comprehensive answer, but Braden did a good job.
All right, so now we'll add a third thing on here. And so this one, create a checkout session and return the URL. So this shit. Okay. So I can just do it in here while that loads. All right, so now the other thing we need is create checkout. I'll just say sesh. Use this tool with the customer ID from XYZ tool to create a customized checkout session link for the user. Okay. I'm just telling it here, this is what this does, this is how you do it, XYZ. This is the endpoint, this is where we're going to do this at. And then what do we need to send there? We need to send the customer ID. That's just what we specified in there. And we'll say the user's customer ID. Easy enough. I am going to take this from here and add this on and add this in here. There we go.
So I was going to ask if updating the bot maintained the relationship or the current status of the conversation and continued it when the user responded. But there's no, like, you've done it like 10 times already. Every time you update it, it's holding the status of the conversation, even though the tool isn't built yet. And then when you follow up with your next question, it carries the conversation forward from its last status, which is really cool. That's showing the memory of the conversation.
Yeah, we're a data warehouse company at the end of the day. And that's pretty much all it comes down to.
Right, like, so imagine just from testing, having to go back and restart the conversation every time.
It's fucking nuts. All right, so now that I've told it it can generate a customized link for me, and I think I linked everything. Oh, shit. Oh, no, I did put that in there. Okay. Did I? I did put the URL. I linked the customer ID, Stripe key. Okay. That should be good. Okay, we're logged in on here. Okay, so I'm just going to tell it. Let's see what we got wrong. Returned error. Okay. Oh, you know why? Because Stripe. Ugh. Let's do a custom object here. Return is Stripe return JSON. Let's see if that works. Wait, no, that's not right. Return.
If the question from DOS was, if the first custom tool Stripe ID wasn't built, will this still play out well? To think about it from Stripe's perspective, if you try and create a new product or a new purchase from somebody that doesn't have a Stripe ID, how would it react? it would fail. So yeah, we do need the Stripe ID. And if you're wondering what is the process for building out a new custom tool or varied set of tools or API endpoints, you got to think like a computer. Once you fill out like what we're doing right here, the return URL, the customer ID, once all those are filled out, if everything's flowing appropriately, it will build. So if Stripe needs a customer ID in order to build them, then yes, we need to, before we make the tool to build them, then we need before that to get the customer ID.
There we go. I love build ship, man. This is the only other platform I nerd out on other than Go High Level. Everything I have. Which values to insert? So if you're building something, I'll just go off like a traditional API call. So if you're doing like a MLS or just any tool you want to integrate with, they'll require you to put some stuff in. Which like with this Go High Level one here, Go High Level is like, hey, we need these things from you, and it's like first name, last name, email. In the same way, this is what you would put for your parameters because that's like what the endpoint requires you to put in, which is the first name and the last name, the name and the email. And you also have to describe this to the AI because it's dynamic, because you're not just saying email equals my email, right? You're telling the AI in a dynamic way, the email is the user that you're talking with's email. And so it makes API calling super, super easy because it basically puts it all in the hands of the AI to do nothing you really need to do or fill out.
Which is honestly even better that AI is handling it on the back end because, like Jordan was saying, traditionally you'd have to find the API call of that provider. If, let's say, we weren't calling High Level directly, we were calling Gmail and Outlook and all these other things, they'd all have a different key that we'd have to be looking for. Like one might be email underscore address, the other one might be emails underscore address, and so we'd have to account for each and every one of those. But because AI is involved, first off, and we're using GHL, but because AI is involved, it can just determine based off the phrasing where the email is held. Makes life easier for us.
And now we have a customized checkout link, all from AI. So we had it go into Stripe, create me in Stripe. We see it failed the first time. It understood its failure and knew what it needed to do to correct it. Corrected it, went and created it. Let me know that it was created. Prompted it to get some stuff here. I asked, am I behind on payments? It used the context that it was given back to let me know I have no outstanding balance. I said, okay, I'm ready to pay. And again, from this one, this is more of a Stripe thing. If you're using Stripe, they output text rather than just like JSON format. Nothing you need to worry about. But I fixed it and said try now, which outputted a pay link and gave me a pay link, which is customized pay
That's
link.
stupid cool. So that way, this is all over SMS. Is there anything that would prevent this? First question, that would prevent this from being done via live chat or via Facebook or anything like that?
Nope, absolutely not. Works on all of them.
And voice as well?
Voice as well. However, this output may not be optimal for. I would probably change this to like. Here's what I would do if I were doing this in voice, because obviously it'll be like, here's your link, and then the AI is gonna be like, okay, here's your link, http://page, and it's like, okay. But what I would do is I would say, do this. So do everything you just did, but take this return, put this in another custom tool, send it to High Level to be sent out via text. So we can even
Sanitize it, yeah.
Yeah, let's fucking run it.
Yeah, I want that. I want to be able to, like, on the phone, hey, I'm sending you the payment link. I'll stay here on the phone, wait until it's confirmed. Like, that's cool.
This is the next V2.
This is actually what I've been telling people I'm trying to build, even people I'm selling to. I'm like, what we hope for in very far off future.
I know.
This is like a money printing machine.
It's so crazy. That's why I'm like,
Together.
there is an education lag just because everything's so new. But that's why I'm like, it's so fucking powerful. We just got to all learn it. That's why like I'm gonna fucking run these calls into the ground over the next few weeks, man. It's just by the end of this, there's nothing you will not know, because I can guarantee you go out try to find it. No one else is doing this shit.
No.
Especially mirroring chat and voice to do it at the same time.
Oh, heck yeah. Das asked, any resources you guys recommend so I can learn more of this? I'm just going to say when Balil or when Jason posts this, go back and watch it. It's a template, really. When he goes into BuildShip, it's telling him the resources he needs. So inside of Assistable, he's telling the resources from GHL that have to be passed. It's actually it's templated. The only thing that I would say to actually learn is just go to YouTube and watch how to build your own API or how to make an API call or something like that. It's really simple. Computers are actually, everything is 1 and 0. So if it's asking for a username, you have to give it a username, just like Jordan was saying, with the exact same title. Like it's called a key. So if it's user capital N name, then you have to spell it out exactly like that. It's really not that hard once you. To be fair, if you're not a technical person, I'm not going to fault you for it. But if you are, it's going to be really fast. You're going to learn it really quickly.
Okay, so I'm just gonna put this here, and then I'm gonna say create checkout sesh.
I drank my whole Nalgene. We're taking too long, y'all.
All right, so here's the real test. Actually, I don't have it linked in here yet. Let me initialize this real quick.
And just for the record, Jordan and Jason are bigger nerds than me. Okay.
No, Jakin, not when it comes to build chip. No, I think it's maybe nerd, but not as knowledgeable. Like you have your engineering in this stuff for a long time. When it comes to coding and stuff, right? So.
Well, my backstory is I have really been out of that position for 2.5 years. I just jumped right into GHL and I tried keeping everything, all my tooling inside of GHL because I didn't want all these external connections that were breaking and changing all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like riding a tricycle, getting back on it. Like you just get used to it, and it's cool. You get immersion. There we go. It's like just a new language. Getting back into it.
Okay, so for anyone who's going to use it, because you can use it in any external API because we allow you to put in your own token authorization. You can use a build chip one. You can use go high level workflows. This is an example. We send everything. This is the data that we send. So you're fully aware of everything that's happening. So here's the argument. So this is like when we were doing args dot, whatever. This is because this is what we send. We send arguments with each item from the parameters. And so for this one, we just have the URL being sent, which is the payment link. So we have the args. We also have the contact ID so that you can find the contact and go high level and send it to them. We also have your account number that is unique to ours. So instead of your location ID, this is your specific account ID with us. Your location ID, which matches the location ID. The request ID, so we generate a unique ID for the request in case you need to do triage. The tool name that generated this, so send payment link, and then the tool unique ID there. So we'll save that, and you're like, well, now what? Well, this is like there's no contact involved with this. Like this was just us randomly sending data. So we need to find the contact. And how would we do that? Well, the best way is the ID, the unique identifier. To go high level is the contact ID. Every contact has a specific unique ID. That's the contact ID. We send that with every request so you can find every contact. We're going to find the contact. So from this, which is our little tool that's in the URL, we're going to find this contact, which is me. That's what we're going to do here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to find contact by contact ID. And this is just a custom value here that you can grab from here that just says contact ID. Set that equal to each other. So now we know we found who we're sending this for. And I'm just going to say send SMS. I'm going to say, here's your payment link, which I can reference custom values, the inbound webhook, arguments, URL, good to go. All right, true test. Very fun stuff. Let's try it out, boys.
Hi there, this is
I'm gonna guide you through this because I don't know you're smart enough. So I need you to send me a checkout session link. Can you do that?
Sure thing. I can help with that. Let me first create a Stripe ID for you. One moment. Creating your checkout session link now. Here's your checkout session link. https://agentcentric.com/Olivia123.
Okay, all right, that's good. Can you just send it to me in text?
Sure thing. I'll send the checkout link to your phone now. The checkout link has been sent to your phone. Anything else I can help with?
No, I think that may be it. Let me make sure you did your job correctly. Send payment link.
Got it. Right. If you need anything else, feel free to reach out. Have a great day.
All right, let's make sure she sent it to me. And let's triage, just with the payment link, check the text. Now let's do a little oh, you know what? Voice has different arguments than chat. We do contact ID a tad different on there. So we'll use this one. Because we can
pull that with underscore?
Is
that the contact ID with underscore?
Yep.
I'm just curious why the difference. Like, is that something that's going to become the same, or do we always need to be aware?
It's going to become the same because I can't imagine how much fun it is for anybody, especially me.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time diagnosing a situation the other day and found out it was just the wrong contact ID.
There you go. Let's see here.
So on Jason's point, and I don't know the answer, you're saying all inbound webhooks to GHL or have to be premium?
Say that one more time.
Jason posted in chat, use inbound webhook for sending GHL, that is premium?
So the inbound are premium.
All inbound are premium.
Let me just double check, but I'm very sure it is.
Yeah, I don't know the answer.
Jason, correct.
Awesome, thank you. So if GHL is reaching out, that can be a standard. If GHL has to be the one accepting the information, then it has to be premium.
My guess is yes, although I know sometimes in the past we've used premium for the outbound as well. But nowadays, actually, yes, even like the actions, like Jordan's like assistable actions, they are premium as well.
But Jordan had mentioned that they're premium more so as a template so that we could copy them. Like it depends apparently now. I was unaware, but apparently if it's something that GHL has to have basically an open ear for, that's a premium. But if it's something that's being sent to another tool, that can be copied as a standard. So the reason why it has to be standard because premium is what he can build as assistable through the marketplace. He can build those as a custom webhook. Whereas he can't just add all of his webhooks to every GHL customer. So that's why it's considered custom.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Well, that's good to know.
Well, we all learned.
Yeah,
Except for Jordan.
100%.
He already knew.
All right, so let's try her out now.
Hi there. This is Haley from Assistables AI. How's it going?
Hey, can you send me a checkout link real quick to my phone?
Sure thing. Let me get that set up for you. One moment, please. Creating your checkout session link now. Sending the payment link to your phone now. All set. You should receive the payment link on your phone shortly. Anything else I can help with?
No, I think that should be it.
Great. If you need anything else, feel free to reach out.
Wait,
Have a good night.
wait. Can you book an appointment or no? No, you can't.
Absolutely. I can.
No, you can't. Don't lie. Okay. Fun stuff. Custom tools. It's the bee's knees, man.
That's
do anything.
awesome. I saw Jason giggling.
It's awesome. So awesome. I'm looking to get into that, like the whole Google Sheets or connection to that or Airtable now. But
Yeah.
obviously, I'm guessing there'll be a little bit more work on the build chip side to pull the right data, right?
Nope. Not at all because Google Sheets, Gig Sheet. I think you may need to authenticate, so that may be a per account basis though. I think that may be the only thing.
Okay.
But if you have a client that needs to pull from Sheets, just make them a little build chip thing, charge them extra for a build out, and then authenticate it, and you should be good. And then now you can pull it back as context because these have no limit on context, as you can see.
Oh shit, you guys are still here. I went and took a shower and came back and you're still on.
No, we're sweaty.
All right.
Sorry, Jordan, what were you saying there?
But you can take kind of the same way like the context injection works, or like the website scraper, for example, where it goes out, makes a call, and then brings the data back. So like this is a good representation. It would be the same thing with build chip. You make a call, query it, it'll send back the data from the sheet, and then it'll be able to reference it like this.
So let's
So
just
that's
say
gonna
that
be
it
the whole
imports a spreadsheet with say 50 data points, like was Bill I talked about yesterday. Oh no, that was Harry. With like 250 listings of whatever, right? Each 50 data points. Is that not going to overwhelm with data, or is it able to parse properly?
It's able to parse. Your responses may become a little bit longer because of how much data is in there, but it'll work.
Seriously.
We did a build out something similar the other day.
So we don't need to necessarily upload that to the knowledge base, which we could, but the sheet is going to be active and like live.
Live data. I'm telling you, I've been telling you guys, this is the magic sauce. You could literally, the only thing stopping you is your imagination now. That's the only thing stopping you. And you saw it in chat and voice.
No, please end the call so I can go work.
All right,
I need a break.
I agree with that. I'm tired. Was this helpful?
Extremely.
man.
The only problem is I'm going to be watching it on repeat for the next week.
Right.
Awesome.
Hey Jordan, can you share that web scraper endpoint?
Yeah, I can right here.
And
Bill, good one. Yeah.
And there's a note to everyone who didn't catch it. I'm pretty sure, Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong, and I just missed all, but it wasn't the bot that sent the link. It wasn't through Assistable's phone number. It was through the tied-in GHL account, correct?
Yep.
Because currently Assistable can't do text and chat through the same bot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? Oh, I can't say it. You'll charge me $10.
Oh no. I meant not the web scraper, but the one for the screenshot.
No, I have to one check that, make sure we're still good on that one, and then I'll put it in as either a custom tool that you can use in your assistant and or the documentation on there. Because I have to re-up our API docs.
Perfect.
Jason, you want to repeat what you just said there about being from a different phone number?
Oh yeah. So Jordan, would you go to the Assistable? Thank you. He already knew what I was going to ask. So if he goes to the assistant, that assistant that he was using, that number was the number that he called right there, the 470. What he did inside of the tools is make a tool to say, hey, after you receive this information, give it to GHL. After you receive that URL, hand it to GHL. And inside of a workflow, he said, once you receive this, send it through the default phone number for this location, not through the Assistable number. So honestly, everything he said is awesome and it's sweet. It will be also 2 times easier once we don't have to push back and forth from Assistable to GHL.
I'm pretty sure one of my assistants was responding via live chat and text simultaneously last night.
That's all fine. That's all still chat. But you're saying, whoa, it's going through 2 platforms at the same time?
Yeah, I was switching reply channels because I had a double loop set up on accident, and then I was like, oh, that's cool.
Oh, did you find a way around it?
I essentially just cleared the history and then made sure that through the live chat widget that I was using, that it wasn't conflicting, like it didn't have any text history in the reply channel.
Were you using any webhooks?
Yeah, webhooks were involved.
So in the webhook, each webhook should say reply channel, right, Jordan? GHL webhook should tell you, should require the reply channel.
An inbound, like a workflow trigger?
Yeah. Oh, not a workflow trigger, a webhook. So workflow trigger, yes, starts the workflow, but then the response inside the webhook The one that I did for the context bot that was copying your video as close as I could had a specified response medium.
Right now it's just SMS. Right now it's just SMS, just to make it dummy proof. I will add the rest though.
I wonder. I don't know how that happened then, Braden. I'm sorry.
I think it was because I had the widget was set up to send a workflow-based message after somebody started chatting with the chat widget. And so when that message fired, it fired as a assistant message to the assistable assistant because I tagged it right before or right after.
Yeah.
So it must have been just the timing of the tag mixed with the fact that I was using a go high level automated message in the mix. I'm not sure. If I can replicate it, I'll let you know.
On that note, Jordan, when you built that context bot, you added the tag, the activation tag, and then you added the injection.
Yep.
Is there a reason for doing it in that order? That confused me. Even in my recording of it, I'm like, I don't know why I did it. I just copied them and it worked.
Why I did the tag later in it?
Yeah.
So
you did
that
the tag
was
soon, and then you later added the webhook.
That was a creative choice. And so for that one specifically, the one that was copied was the reason I did the tag later. Like on this one, the tag's added first and then this is done later. The one before it was like send messages and then add the tag, which is probably how this one will go, is because these I have is like these like synthetic messages, right? Like, oh, I forgot to connect the workflow. And then if somebody comes back and then they're like, oh, no problem. I don't want to intercept of what I'm going to put in here as instruction because it's going to reply based on its instruction that it currently has. But I haven't had a chance to inject yet. And so that's why I waited until here on the last one to say, like, you don't respond if they reply within this time frame. You only get started before or after this because you have an instruction.
That makes sense to me. What confuses me though is I thought the activation tag is what activated the bot, but in this case, it's not actually starting the conversation with the bot until the webhook is made.
Yep.
So
that's what I did last night because I had a context node involved and wait nodes and SMS nodes. So I tagged it earlier, thinking that it would activate the bot, but it wouldn't have at that point.
Say that one more time.
So in this case, the assistant knows to ignore the SMSs, like the messages that are programmed coming out of go high level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Maybe outbound. Yep. Yes. If I'm understanding that right. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. How are we feeling? Overwhelmed? Excited?
Excited.
I thought I was excited, but then Jason turned his camera on.
Dude, it's like a kid at Christmas.
We're live.
Good. Okay. I'm gonna call it a day there. That was good for our first Friday call back. Pretty easy, pretty fun. I'm gonna go get some rest and then push all these updates that need to be done throughout the weekend, yada yada yada. But now you've seen if someone's like it's not working, it works great. And there's some gaps I need to fill to make sure that people don't input things that they shouldn't. So there you go. There's your knowledge of custom tools, which is the magic sauce of V2. If you didn't know, now you know. That's how all the cool stuff is going to happen. That's how competitive edge is created. That's how moats are created. Because there's not one other tool that I'm aware of that allow you to do it as robustly in both chat and voice to do literally anything. And so now your client's potential scope is limitless, which also means your pay grade is now also limitless. And I think it's pretty cool at least. So I hope it's helpful. I hope you learned a little bit about V2. I hope you learned a little bit about AI in general. I hope you learned a little bit about custom tools, and I hope you take this and have some fun this weekend. Grab a margarita, sit back, play with some AI, get ready for Monday to get back into the whole sales structure. And then I'm going to do some here there's to make sure we're getting all this fun little stuff done.
Good man. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks a bunch.